Hello, I am Dr. John McGeorge, bringing you a short introduction to the course, Kingdom Builders Change the World. The kingdom of God existed in eternity forever. However, after God created the heavens and earth, he created Adam and Eve, who would have a kingdom mandate to bring the kingdom of heaven into the earth just as it was in heaven, but in a more natural realm. Adam and Eve had a kingdom mandate to rule over the natural realm as well as the spiritual realm. And we all know that the kingdom was lost when Satan tempted them and they fell. But God didn't give up on the kingdom mandate on earth. In fact, he eventually sent Christ again in order to reintroduce, reestablish, and expand the kingdom on earth in a fallen context. In this course, you'll learn more about prayer as the primary channel of communication with the King in heaven in order to understand how to build the kingdom on earth and to expand it just as it covers all of heaven. We need to realize that the heart of the kingdom is understanding what it is. Too many theologians have said and agree that the kingdom of God is simply God ruling in the heart of man. That is too short of a definition, because the kingdom is when God chooses a people to be kingdom citizens, that he will infuse into them his word, his spirit, and his power in order to enable them to develop a kingdom mindset, kingdom speech, kingdom belief, kingdom behavior, a kingdom culture, and much more. So understanding what the kingdom of God really is in this earthly context will enable you to see through kingdom eyes and how to literally expand the kingdom in your environment. It's also important to realize that there are very specific characteristics of the kingdom of God, such as having a domain or a space, having power and authority. It has a government, it has a constitution, it has a culture, it has a tax system, it has an educational system. So when you begin to understand the definition of the kingdom and all of its characteristics, then you will understand all the different avenues that God has given us to influence people and all the society around us to bring the kingdom culture into our present existence. It is important to realize that there's also a war going on between the kingdom of God in heaven and on earth against the kingdom of darkness. And we need to understand that conflict, but also understand how God has equipped us to overcome the kingdom of darkness. When God transferred us from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of his beloved Son, the word there, he conquered, is that God literally fought against Satan, broke his power, took us as his possession out of Satan's control, and then equipped us, anointed us, and now is building kingdom lifestyle in us so that we can be like Christ, expanding the kingdom on earth. Also, we'll learn about being citizens of the kingdom. You know, just like American citizenship is so wanted by so many people in the earth, we'll understand all the blessings, the benefits, as well as the responsibilities of being a kingdom citizen and how much God puts behind us, the authority, the power, his army, and so forth, resources that he has in order to expand his kingdom. So you'll learn to develop a new mindset of being able to see the kingdom in action, to see where you can overcome the darkness and where you can literally bring in the kingdom on a more permanent basis. We are also ambassadors of the kingdom, which means God takes care of us as his ambassadors, just as, for example, the American government takes care of American ambassadors in other parts of the world. An ambassador is one who speaks their government's words, not their own words. They have all the resources of their government coming to their aid at any point in time when is needed. And so when people hear the voice of kingdom citizens, they should be hearing the voice of the king himself. I'll also talk about the different keys to unlock and to close things within the kingdom, what to allow, what to close up, what to permit, what to restrain. Because when God gives us the keys of the kingdom. And again, it's not keys to the kingdom because we're already in the kingdom. He gives us the keys of the kingdom to unlock the blessings and benefits of the kingdom in the situations that we may be in. Also, we'll talk about the Apostle Paul as the apostle of the kingdom. You know, every sermon that Paul preached that's recorded in the book of Acts, he uses the concept kingdom of God as the foundation for everything that he says. And he mentions it in most of his letters as well. So he truly acted as the human apostle in order to advance the kingdom in a broken culture. We'll also learn about praying God's kingdom to come in the here and now. I think most believers don't believe that when they say the Lord's Prayer, they really believe, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I think most of them don't really believe it's going to happen. But I'm going to instill in you the power, the resources, and the ability and prospects of advancing his kingdom to come now into our context. We'll also talk about the book of Acts. The book of Acts is simply just the acts of the kingdom. God anointed the apostles at the beginning, and they went out and they perform acts of the kingdom. Wherever the kingdom is present, there is always the word and power, signs and wonders and miracles. And that is how we should see the kingdom operating today in our communities. I'll also talk at great length about the blessings of the kingdom. There are innumerable blessings of the kingdom, and we just have a foretaste of what is to come. You know, love is one of the greatest characteristics of the kingdom because God is love, and we can experience that kingdom characteristics. There is righteousness, there is peace, there is joy. There's so many characteristics, and as we begin to instill them into our life, we can pour out those blessings into other people's lives as well. We'll talk about the differences between the kingdom and the church. The church is temporal. It is limited here to this earth, whereas the kingdom started in eternity. It'll continue into eternity, and it's much larger than the kingdom itself. One of the last things I will begin to really talk about is how to develop a kingdom mindset in us as individuals and in us as the church. We as the church should be seen as an embassy of the kingdom. We should operate like a normal embassy, and we should begin to develop the kingdom mindset and begin to go out and spread that mindset wherever we go, in our jobs, in our neighborhoods, where we shop, where we do leisure activities and things of that nature. So developing a kingdom mindset allows us to have kingdom actions, kingdom thoughts, kingdom words, and kingdom ability to expand the kingdom of God. I'll also talk a little bit about building kingdom principles in your word, because it's important as we communicate with people, we don't let their worldly agenda draw us in the wrong direction, is that we actually guide them with a kingdom agenda in the kingdom direction. And the last thing I'll talk about are kingdom projects. Every church should have multiple kingdom projects in order to expand the community all around them, so that as they do things such as door-to-door evangelism, as they have child care, they go into their neighborhoods and begin to bring practical kingdom application in order to show people that the kingdom of God is not merely spiritual, it is also practical in its nature. You know, how a husband loves their wife, you know, how children respect their parents, how they care for their possessions, and all of those types of things. So it's incredibly important that we have kingdom projects, that we complete them and expand the kingdom, not only in our lives and our families, but especially in our local church and in the community that surrounds our local church. This will be a very exciting course, and I think you will be transformed in many ways as you learn the teaching about kingdom builders change the world.